You're listening to the Conversations with KidsPeace podcast. Advice, information, and inspiration from experts at the leading provider of mental and behavioral health services for children, adults, and those who love them. Now, here's your host.
Hello, and welcome to our podcast series, Conversations with KidsPeace. I'm Bob Martin. We're posting this podcast during our KidsPeace Back to School Week, where we're providing insights and encouragement across all our communication channels to kids and families who are preparing, perhaps reluctantly, for summer to end and the school year to begin. Now, we've talked about this subject in the past, but it occurred to us that we hadn't tapped into the thoughts and opinions of a major player in this effort, teachers. KidsPeace is committed to educational excellence for its clients in our outpatient and residential treatment programs, and we have some of the finest teachers around. And in fact, we have invited one of them, Diane Conti, to join us today. And we tasked her with relaying to our audience her thoughts on things teachers wish parents knew. Diane Conti, welcome. Great to have you with us.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you.
And now you have been a teacher for 30 years, is that right?
Approximately, mm-hmm.
And in 4 years here at KidsPeace?
Yes, October will be 4 years at KidsPeace.
So how do you like it?
I love it. I love working with
It is
these
really
kids.
A calling, isn't it,
It
to
is.
be a teacher?
It is.
So we said, Diane, we needed us to give us a whole bunch of tips, and you've identified some that are specific to certain levels in school, but let's talk about the ones you feel are applicable to all the grades.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I would say not to dismiss your child's feelings, especially day one, week one. Kids wake up, they're feeling anxious. Night before, they're having trouble falling asleep. Just let him or her know that it's okay to feel scared. It's okay to feel nervous. I think that makes such a huge difference. Parents tend to tell their children, don't be scared. It's all, you'll be fine. Don't be scared.
Or dismiss it. It's just nerves. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, right. And they don't mean harm, but they don't realize that creates more stress. Now the child feels, it's not okay to feel scared. What's wrong with how I'm feeling? So just acknowledging it's okay, bud, be scared, be nervous. It's going to pass. Your teacher's there for you. Your friends are there. Mom or whoever's here when you get off the bus. It'll be okay. This is especially true for the younger grades and that first year of middle school.
The transition time to another type of learning.
Definitely. The first day, right, a new building, new high school, a new neighborhood perhaps where you don't even know any of the kids. Right. So that creates some stress. You may also want to remind them that many of their peers feel the same and they don't think that. They think it's just me. No one else is feeling this. But, and also I would say to parents, just make a little time to talk about it. When they come home in the evening, in the morning, just that little bit of, hey, how you feeling? Is it getting easier? Anything, worrying you? Just inviting them. Sometimes if we don't ask, they won't tell. So
I also think it's important.
Little opening.
It's important for parents to remember that that breakthrough is not necessarily going to be, yes, Father, you were so wise, and I'm so glad it was. It's more of, it was fine. It's
absolutely.
Like, what are you making a big deal about, Dad? And
right.
It's kind of like, very good.
Right, exactly. Or I'm not scared. They're not going to admit to it.
About?
Right. Say, okay, well, just in case, so you can kind of play along and just give them that reassurance anyway, and also just reassure them that it will get easier.
Right.
In a week or two. This is not a feeling that's going to last forever. The butterflies will subside. So even if they're like what you say is a great point, or playing cool about it. Just plug your little 2 cents in. I think that will make a huge difference.
Excellent. What else?
The wake up schedule. I think try to just ease back into that a week or two before makes a big difference. Otherwise, they tend to be falling asleep on the desk that first week. Summertime, we tend to we don't even realize even a couple of hours makes a difference. They're not used to waking up at 5 or 6 a.m. So
right.
If you have that late schedule, just little by little, just scale it back or start setting that practice alarm.
And that gives you also time to see like what exactly your particular child needs.
Yes,
to
definitely.
Get started in the morning. I'm
right.
thinking some of the kids, you hear these things. Kids, they have to wake up at 5 in order to be ready to get on the bus at 7. It's just their nature. Others
Correct.
are roll out at 6:45. They're fine. They're pop on the bus, go.
Very true. Some people just wake up, poof, no problem. Some kids need that half hour maybe just to sit and watch a cartoon or just get their eyes awake. Depends. Do you shower in the evening? Do you shower in the morning? So just time how much you need so you're not rushing.
Excellent. You also talked about the need to make sure they're properly fueled.
Yes. A good breakfast, and many kids will say, I don't eat breakfast, but teachers find that kids get, I guess everyone knows the term now, hangry, a mix between hungry and angry. So I would say try to encourage even just a small, healthy breakfast. It doesn't have to be
it doesn't have to be a huge spread,
right,
but just something.
Right, or many of our kids I know eat breakfast at school, so just to get there on time, if you want that school breakfast, and then you need to be there by a certain time. Something as small as milk and a granola bar could make a big difference just to make it through. Our kids are all on different schedules, so if your class eats lunch at noon, that's a long time from being up at 6 in the morning.
Exactly.
Yes, also going prepared with the basics, and it sounds so simple.
Well, you were saying this, you sit there and you find that people are sort of saying, well, of course you go with the basics. That's not always as easy or simple, is it?
No, it isn't. Sometimes it's just the simple things we overlook. So just to think, okay, day one, week one, just make sure that you have a simple backpack, a pencil, a notebook. I think it helps to ease anxiety for kids. They know, okay, I'm not sure what the teacher's going to ask for. Maybe I'll have to go buy binders, or a pencil case. Maybe I won't, but at least I have just a little something to take down some notes, write something down. I know some schools now offer summer lists, so if parents go on websites, nowadays you'll find much more information than...
Yeah, back in the day, and I'm kind of dating myself, but I remember you walked in sort of like, I have a pencil and I have a piece of paper, and then they're going to tell me all the things that I did not bring that I need to go get.
Correct.
But now, like you said, now you can go online. The school districts have those lists. The teachers, you can say, I'm going to be your child's teacher, and I'm going to need you to have this kind of thing.
Yes, and I agree with what you're saying. I remember that as well. Just that it's opposite sides of the seesaw. For us, it was a little anxiety about, what is the teacher going to ask for? Now it's the flip side. Looking at those websites, I just want to also tell parents, as resourceful as they are, don't panic and think you need everything on that list before your child gets there. I've seen that so many times. Someone will say, Mom, look, there are 20 things on this list. We've only bought 15. The teacher's going to yell at me. Not so. You'll always have time to get everything. Sometimes it's just a suggested list. So just going with the basics, I think will just put...
And one of the things, and we were talking before we went on here, one of the things I think is very positive is obviously there are some families for which the resources are very tight, and some things are not perhaps within reach there. But there are so many programs now where people are trying to help, right?
Yes, correct. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you can't attain that on your own, absolutely. And sometimes those websites offer that as well. Communities will
I'm thinking of those the backpack
events.
Days.
Right, correct. And if not, I think even just a simple note to the teacher stating, how can we obtain these items, or I may need a week or two. Is totally okay as well.
And of course, if you are fortunate enough to have resources and you want to share, help your community,
absolutely.
Those efforts are always looking for folks to donate. You can find that wherever in your community.
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes the teachers as well. Week one will give out notebooks, pencils.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
so
great.
Nothing I think to worry about. Just going in prepared a little bit.
So you're also. You want him to, you were saying before, the other things you have on your list there for the grades.
Another basic one, and again, we overlook the simple things, not thinking much of them, but they make that huge difference, would be just to share important information with your child. This is your school bus number. This is our stop. If it's brand new, would you like to go practice? I know now many elementary schools have practice day where you can, or even middle school, you go to school and practice one day how to get on the bus, making sure you're on that right bus, et cetera.
Exactly.
But whether sometimes families are still on vacation while that's happening, and so then kids get a little bit stressed. So rather than stress, just share that information.
And make sure, there's a lot of stuff coming down the pike in terms of information. Just make sure the child, did you catch that? This is where you're going to get the school bus, and it's school bus number X. Just make sure they know that.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, you also talked a little bit about things that might be specific to certain levels.
Yes, I did. Especially for the very first day of kindergarten, or for children who deal with separation anxiety or maybe tearful, just offer those extra reassurances. School may still just be a brand new thing. It's a little bit different than preschool, where maybe your child was only there for 2 or 3 hours. Now many of our kindergartens are going full day. And I've seen where children even fall asleep on the bus coming home. So just let them know that it's going to be okay. Mom or dad or someone will be right here where we dropped you off.
Right.
Later today.
And it occurred to me, we didn't talk about this, but I've told this story on the podcast a couple of times, but it's also a point of saying, especially for the little ones, making sure whatever separation anxiety you as the parent may be feeling is not communicated. And I tell the story that my eldest child, when he was getting ready to go to first grade, he's going to ride the bus. And the night before, I was saying, maybe to my wife, maybe we should, take him there, and she looked at me like I had two heads and said, you do understand that the most exciting thing to him at all is to get on that bus in the morning with the people next door, right? You understand that. I'm like, okay,
right.
Slap a smile on, wave, and then deal with it as they disappear into the distance, kind of thing.
Yes, Bob, you bring up a very, very important and true point. So true. Parents do definitely deal with, especially kindergarten. Oh, my baby. We deal with that anxiety as well. We worry, what if someone makes fun of him? What if he cries? It's natural, but not showing that and just keeping that calm, because kids definitely do feed off of our energy. I think kids are way more perceptive than adults. So it is very important to just kind of keep that in check, if they say, I'll miss you, that's fine. I'll miss you too, but it's okay. But I'm going to see you in a little while. Definitely keep that cool. More often than not, they do want to get on that school bus. And once they pull away, they're fine.
Exactly.
It's just that little, getting over that little hill, getting them out of the house.
Now let's talk about the flip side of that. Your child goes into, here we're in Pennsylvania. Here you go to like sixth grade, you go into middle school.
Right.
Totally different dynamic, right?
Totally different dynamic. Absolutely. I don't need you to come to the bus stop with me. I'm old enough. They think that's uncool. I know as a parent, I've already just peeked through the window to make sure, my child's okay. If they're old enough to go alone, there are ways to get around that. Middle school in and of itself can be very stressful at first, sixth grade especially. So, they want to act all tough and cool, but inside they're nervous. Just again, give those same reassurances, give them as much freedom as allowed safely.
Right,
and my biggest too is the padlock. That's what I find.
Yes, you were mentioning that.
Yeah, silly little things we overlook, and things will always go wrong, and that's okay. They're all fixable. But kids struggle with things like, what if I can't remember my combination? What if my locker doesn't open? So just practicing those things at home, or being able to make it to practice day. Will ease all that, and then you just remind them it's okay if it doesn't work out and you can't open it. Just find someone and ask for help.
And that's an important point you always mention, that it's really okay to ask for it, really at any of the levels.
Absolutely, at any of the levels. Something will go wrong. It's going to always be something minor, though, and it's always fixable. Either you'll get to school and then you'll say, oh, no, they mixed up my schedule, or you can't open the locker, or you lost something, or mom didn't put something in your backpack. It's okay. You just tell the teacher, go home, explain to mom or dad. It's always fixable. There's someone in the office. There's always someone in the hallway. So it's just for kids to know it's okay to ask for help. And when you're in high school, it's okay too. It's not, I look silly because I'm older. It's totally okay to ask for help no matter what the grade level is.
What about high school?
High school, I would say the biggest for high school, and again, ninth grade, I think you're going to find those jitters for maybe the first week, and you're fine. High school buildings tend to be larger than your elementary or middle school, so kids worry they're going to get lost. A week or two later, Mom, I had no idea what I was worried about. It's fine. I know my way now. I'm a pro. So again, it eases quickly, but most high school students will be assigned summer readings, sometimes book reports, if they're going into, say, honors classes especially. I would say definitely avoid waiting till the end of the summer. That definitely causes stress and anxiety. In June, you think, I got plenty of time, but look at that list and try to break it up time-wise over the 2 months, and you'll find that you'll be a lot less stressed. It'll all be ready to go.
Right.
And again, something will go wrong. I remember my daughter had a huge project due. She was so diligent about everything. She had the backpack ready. That project was sitting on her desk, ready to go. And she came home in tears because guess where she left the project? And guess what? The teacher wouldn't accept it late. She lost a bunch of points. But, it was fine. It all worked out in the end. So even if you think the worst thing happened or I forgot my gym clothes, it's not so bad. It will work out.
It sounds like a summary of what we're talking about really is, take the time to be prepared.
Right.
But also recognize, as we all know, that as much preparation as you put into something unforeseen will happen, and you're not, and to be able to look at it calmly and say, in the big picture, this is okay, and we're going to take from it some lessons, and we're going to be okay. And that, just having that sense around what you're doing has to be something that gives the kids some comfort and some sort of support as they're dealing with inside their own heads and their own hearts with doing what they're doing now.
Yes, and if I can go back to a point you made earlier to tie in with what you just said, Bob, is that, again, coming from the parent, just say it's okay if something goes wrong. And then if something does, or if your child does forget something, same thing, not to make that big overwhelming deal about it, but just to say, it's all right, not to play the blame game. Just, all right, what can we do differently next time?
Right.
What can we do tomorrow or next week so that this doesn't happen again, and then you feel better that you don't forget this? Maybe we can lay out your homework in a different spot or put it in your backpack the night before. Whatever works for your family.
And they get a chance to sort of control their own destiny.
Absolutely.
How could we do this differently? Well, what if I that's a good idea. Go ahead and do it that way.
And nothing's in stone. If it doesn't work out, come October, try something new. I know many parents love the night before to just take 5 or 10 minutes and make a game of it and say, okay, what are we going to pack in your lunchbox tomorrow? What do you want to help me make? Let's make it together. What's for breakfast? Maybe we can lay out the cereal bowl ahead of time. Anything to make the morning less stressful, especially because most households are now double incomes, right? Mom and dad are working, or grandma and grandpa, or the babysitter's running in while mom's running out. Whatever the case may be, it might just take September to get all of that ironed out. So, same with coming home in the afternoon. For a parent to say, "Oh, you forgot to do this," or "You missed that." No point. Let's instead just sit, talk about it, figure out how you can fix it for the next time.
Well, we always say, the chaos will subside, and then it will become a funny story that they'll tell each other when they're adults. Do you remember those crazy days?
Exactly.
My family came from a big family. My family would tell the story of the day we were watching television, and the kid from next door was over because we walked together, and the kid kind of said, "Hey, your television is smoking." and we had to take the television outside because it was on fire.
Exactly.
I mean, but it's one of those things where you say, yes, in the moment it's kind of hard, but if you can remember to be
it's not that
calm
big,
and sort of combat the anxiety, things are going to go much smoother.
Exactly. It's not usually as big of a deal as we think it is in the moment. And if I can add to that as well, we're talking about these back to school tips, but come October, November, now all that big hype is subsided, and we just tend to forget ourselves. So that's also a good time to remind yourself, there are things that are still coming up. Maybe my child's still scared and isn't going to say if I don't ask. So, ask those questions, keep checking in. Hey, how's everything going? Everything's still okay.
Great point.
How you must have mastered this by now, or maybe not this by now. Are you making friends? Sometimes they're sitting alone in the cafe and we wouldn't know if we don't ask. So just keeping that communication open, I think, is key. And if I could revert back to the little ones again, I think a thing that helps a lot is the night before, just taking time, read their favorite story, just give that little bit of together time makes a big difference if there's no time in the morning. Just those reassurances keep them going as the year goes on.
All right. Diane, we ask each of our guests for a life hack. This could be a piece of advice, a favorite saying, maybe a tip on doing something better. So what's your life hack for us today?
Well, I love to do a quote of the week in my classroom. I've been doing that since the 80s. And one of my favorites is from the book Wonder. And it says, "Don't try too hard to be cool. It always shows, and that's uncool."
That's good advice for all of us.
Yes, for all of us. And I the kids like that one. It's basically, giving them that reminder that it is okay to be an individual, especially when they're navigating middle school and high school, where it's so important to fit in and be like our peers. And that's okay. We do want to have those similarities, but at the same time, just be you, do you, and
that's going to be good enough.
And try to enjoy school.
Yes.
Try to enjoy school. I know not every student does, but
it may be a little hard right now to figure that out, but I think that's a great piece of advice for everybody involved, the kids and the parents.
Yes.
Diane Conti is a teacher at KidsPeace. Diane, thank you for being with us, and thank you for all you and your fellow teachers do for our kids.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and I wish all the kids out there an excellent school year.
Very good. Again, you can look for more information from KidsPeace about heading back to school. That's on our Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram. Let us know what you think about what we're saying. Go to kidspeace.org, click on the Contact Us tab at the top of the page, and select the Request More Info menu item to send us a note. The Conversations with KidsPeace podcast is produced by Robbie Allred. I'm Bob Martin. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to having you join us again for more Conversations with KidsPeace. Take care. If you have comments, questions, or suggestions about our Conversations podcast, we'd love to hear from you. Go to www.kidspeace.org to learn more about the series and share your thoughts.